Ms. Wickenhofer, in the flesh.
I know, right? We're famous, by the way. Over 30K people watch it. Anyways, it doesn't matter. I have to read off my phone, so I apologize, but
It's okay.
it says,
Okay, this is where things start to get interesting. She's not merely expressing her feelings, she is prepared outlining legal arguments in the form of a mini closing argument. Here is the actual query though. Does having a basic understanding of the law help her, or is it just preparing her for an unpleasant reality check?
Your Honor, I was convicted of driving while intoxicated in this court on October 14, 2019, under cause number 222. You already got it. I was sentenced to 4 days in jail, and I have completed that sentence, including paying all fines, costs, and restitutions. I am here today because I meet all the legal requirements under the Texas law for non-disclosure of this conviction. Specifically, number one, my conviction was for DWI with a blood alcohol level below 0.15, which actually was 0.11, I specifically remember. I was not placed on community supervision for this offense. This offense did not involve an accident with another person. I finished my sentence over 5 years ago. I have not been convicted or placed on deferred adjudication for any other crime except for minor traffic violations. This conviction from 6 years ago is still hurting my reputation and my ability to grow in my career. I deeply regret my actions and have learned from my mistakes. Since then, I have worked hard to turn my life around, and I am asking for a second chance. Granting this non-disclosure will allow me to fully move forward, both personally and professionally. It would help me reach my potential and improve my future. Thank you.
Absolutely. So, I don't think I can. Show me where you think I can, but non-disclosures are traditionally for people who take deferreds, complete the deferreds, and are eligible to have it sealed. Expunctions are for those that meet the requirements where if a case gets dismissed, they can have it expunged. Here, when you plead guilty, I don't think you're eligible for either.
Transpired that's how brittle probable causes can be. Everything collapses with a single weak point. Her woe total shutdown. The case fails because of contradictory facts rather than what is a twist though. Was this a technical escape or was justice served?
The thing about it, I can't give you legal advice. I can't tell you how to look this, how to look that. But if you have a piece or if you can show me the law that says I can give you a non-disclosure, and I can tell you, Ms. Wickenhofer, I love it, and I've told you this before, I love it when people try to better themselves, right? If I can, I will, because I'm always about trying to make someone's life better, right?
Yes, sir.
But I have to follow the law. I can't just say, okay, I can't just rubber stamp and do it just for the sake of doing it. There has to be a law, because if not, they appeal it and I'll get overturned.
Yeah, I think it was the points I said, because I was under a certain amount of alcohol in my system.
That doesn't, what matters is the ultimate result in the case. Did you plead guilty? Did you do a probation? Did you do a deferred? I think that the legislature even now made deferreds available for certain types of DWIs so that people don't get convictions, right? But, and we never do them, right? But you can, right? And it's surprising that no people do deferreds on DWIs.
Traditionally in Harris County, Judge, we don't even offer deferreds on DWIs.
But theoretically, if you go without an agreed recommendation, we could, and I think that we may have. I don't remember, but
so they don't grant deferred here then in Harris County.
No, you can. It's
You have to pay more money, so it sounds like.
No, it's not about money. It's about, there are other options that are better.
Okay.
For some. So
I think that's probably why I didn't do it, because they didn't give me the option to.
We always do, though. Every single case. I talk to every single person that comes up here, and I make sure, hey, look, you're making a lifetime decision. Are you sure that you want to do this? Because it's not Target. You can't return it once you do it.
Yeah.
I literally, every person I scrutinize, micromanage. That's why we're still here. It's 1:10 when most judges are gone by now, right?
Yeah. people tell me.
I really care about everybody that rolls here and I want everybody to get the great result, and I don't know what was happening in your life at the time when this happened. Why did it end up like this? Was there something other? Did you have other charges elsewhere? If you can show me in the law that I can, then let's talk. That means you got to get it,
In writing.
No. Go through the actual, this is the Code of Criminal Procedure. In here, there are certain provisions with regard to non-disclosures, who is eligible for them. You have to read it, you got to digest it. You definitely are not, I don't think I can't give you legal advice, right?
Yeah, I understand. It's something we could do, but I don't know. I just want something to be done. I just don't know what can be done. It doesn't sound like anything, which really sucks for me, but.
Nice. Yeah, and the thing is that I even tell people that, within a certain amount of time, if you get buyer's remorse, within 30 days of doing something, we've really reopened cases for people who get buyer's remorse, but here the case is 5 years old. I have no jurisdiction. Even if I wanted to reopen it to do something, I can't. The only advice.
Any service I can do, like any extra thing I can do?
What I would do is really go to a lawyer. You're going to have to spend a little bit of money. Go to a lawyer and fine tooth comb non-disclosure law.
Okay.
And see, is there an out? Is there this? Is there that?
Mm-hmm. Just ask questions. Okay.
You may have to hire a lawyer to really dig into it to see what you can do. Okay. But I can't give you legal advice. I can't sit there and comb the code with you to see, is there a provision that would get it? Because there's so many little nuances here and there. Right. I mean, even so much as a 0.15 or above or 0.15 or below, how long it'll suspend your license versus there's just so many little nuances. I'm so sorry.
That's okay. What was that book called again?
The Code of Criminal Procedure.
Okay. All right.
So,
thank you.
Google Code of Criminal Procedure, Texas non-disclosure, and even if you do that in Google, you'll have so many other lawyers' sites. Read through all those.
Okay.
But I don't think that I can. Once you plead guilty, that's it. That's why I caution everybody, when you take the easy way out, when you do something like this, it's a lifetime thing.
Yeah, I understand. Thank you.
Sorry, sir, you're charged with interference with the duties of a public servant. You're facing up to 6 months in jail and or a $2,000 fine. We are going to do probable cause. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can or will be used against you, sir. Yes, sir.
On March 28th, 2025, an officer was in the process of serving a capital murder warrant on a suspect in Harris County, Texas. While conducting a felony stop, the defendant, who was identified by his Texas ID card, pulled up on the officer's perimeter, got out of their motor vehicle, and began walking to the residence where the murder suspect was. The officer's supervisor ordered the defendant to stop and stay right there. The defendant refused and continued to ignore officers while walking towards the residence. The officer supervisor ordered the defendant to step back multiple times and then grabbed the defendant and took him to the ground.
Him?
Yes, Your Honor.
Was he the capital murder suspect?
No, Your Honor.
I live there. Stop. Oh, sorry.
I believe that they were in the process of serving a warrant on someone else at the residence, and that's when they came in contact with the defendant. Ordered him to stop. He refused to stop going towards the residence, Your Honor.
Did it serve the warrant? What ended up happening?
Looks like after refusing commands, there was a brief struggle where he was detained.
Was the murder suspect there?
I'm not sure, Your Honor. It does not say. I have no further facts that show if the warrant was service was complete on the warrant or not, Your Honor, or completed at the time. I just believe they were in the process and believed him to be at the residence, and that's when this incident occurred.
Read it again, if you don't mind.
Yes, Your Honor. On March 28, 2025, the law enforcement officer and Squad 5, the Houston Police Department's gang division served a capital murder warrant for a suspect observed inside a truck at a nearby residence. While conducting a felony stop, the defendant, who is identified by his Texas ID card, pulled up on the perimeter, got out of the vehicle, walked to the sidewalk, and began walking to the residence where the murder suspect was. The supervisor then ordered the defendant to stop and to stay right there. The defendant refused and continued ignoring officers and walking towards the residence. The supervisor ordered him to step back multiple times, but the defendant was once again ignored the officers. The law enforcement officer grabbed the defendant and made him bounce to the ground.
Okay, so now, but when you first started, you said they were going to a capital murder suspect in a car.
Yes, Your Honor. That's what, so I was originally reading the summary, and I'm going straight from the gems now, Your Honor. It looks like the suspect was observed inside a truck at a nearby residence.
So the suspect is not even in the residence. No.
Then they later state that that the suspect, that the defendant here.
Both instances ultimately demonstrate how harsh the judicial system can be when it comes to timing and technicality. The woman's sincere request for another chance turns into a fierce judicial battle. No matter how much someone has changed, choices like non-disclosure become very limited after a guilty plea is locked in. In contrast, the second scenario completely flips the script with a charge that collapses almost immediately due to ambiguous evidence and poor presentation. It draws attention to a striking contrast. One person continued to live in the past despite their progress, while another was able to move on since the system was unable to maintain its position. It raises the question of whether justice actually depends more on the facts or how skillfully they are portrayed.